There's another Democratic governor in trouble, California Governor Gavin Newsom. He could be facing a recall vote over the state's response to the pandemic. Newsom's now pushing for schools to reopen now that the COVID rates are back down to their lowest in months. But the California Teachers Union is pushing back, saying they do not have the resources to reopen safely. ABC's Zareen Shah has our story.
But at the end of the day, we can do this now.
California Governor Gavin Newsom telling ABC News in a one-on-one interview that he thinks kids are ready to go back to school immediately.
Let's not use perfect as an excuse to safely, thoughtfully, judiciously, and strategically get our youngest kids back in first.
It's the most pressing issue in the state hardest hit by the coronavirus, where roughly 6 million kids have not gone back to school since the pandemic started almost a year ago.
I'm really tired of waiting. I know it's possible. Please, please, please open schools.
I really miss just seeing my friends and being with my teachers because the teachers at my school really care about us.
Newsom now pointing to the state's plummeting case rates to reopen schools and the increase in vaccine supply starting the first week in March.
Their 3.1% positivity is a quarter of what Texas is. It's half of what Florida is. We can do this.
The governor is caught between two groups, teachers unions pushing back on opening classrooms without specific safety protocols and vaccinations, and a recall led by Republicans fueled by the state's COVID response. The state's largest teachers union saying this month school districts have made very clear that they do not have the resources to make sure the proper ventilation is in place, testing, PPE, and other multi-layered safety measures. And we have to get shots in the arms of employees who are required to report in person and before the students return to campus. Newsom appearing to straddle both worlds, saying he wants teachers to have what they want, but also wanting to get kids back into school ASAP.
It appears a lot of teachers are pushing back, saying they want that second dose before they go back to school. I know you deferred to Biden and Fauci, but what do you got to say to those California teachers?
I want them to have it. That's why we provided flexibility for over a month. 35 counties are already administering, and that's why we set aside 75,000 doses so they can feel confident. We're not interested in that. We're committed to keeping them safe.
Newsom's critics say his urgency to get kids back into class comes after Republican opponents have placed the blame on him for schools not reopening fast enough and threatening to challenge him if a recall qualifies for the ballot in just 3 weeks.
Since I announced my candidacy, Newsom started saying schools should open, but it's too little, too late. Gavin Newsom's failed leadership has left an entire generation of kids falling behind.
Our schools are still shut down. Our kids are still not going to school. They're not involved in their activities. We're inflicting untold damage on our kids.
That last point, even the governor can relate to.
What would a first grade Gavin Newsom have been like without a year of school?
I wouldn't be here. I mean, and this is why it's so personal to me.
A governor recall in this state has only made the ballot 4 times before in our entire history, and a governor has only been unseated twice before ever. The last time was actually in this state 18 years ago with Gray Davis.
And I remember that, Zareen. Arnold Schwarzenegger took advantage of that political moment. I'm fascinated by this recall effort because it is so rare. So I guess there in that state, the recall effort actually has to qualify to be on the ballot with signatures or whatever. Well, what does the timeline look like there? Who might challenge Gavin Newsom for his job if he does get recalled?
Yeah, Terry, it is really fascinating. Now, there have to be 1.5 million verified signatures by March 17th. Look, most experts think that we're going to get there, and for many reasons. People in the state are incredibly frustrated with the COVID response. Most schools, as you heard, are still not back open. So if this, in fact, qualifies for the ballot, we're going to have an election later on this year. Hundreds of people are expected to jump in this race, including the 2 men you just heard from, former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer, businessman John Cox. But look, there is not expected to be a prominent Dem challenger. And that is really interesting because that means it's going to be an incredibly uphill climb to basically challenge to unseat Governor Newsom. The demographics of the state have changed incredibly over the last 18 years. It skews far more blue, and Newsom's polling is far higher than Gray Davis's ever was around this time. Terry?
Even with that visit to the French Laundry restaurant, I guess he's in good shape. Zoreen Shah.
That is actually what triggered a lot of this for people.
Understandably. Thanks, Zoreen.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.